Hey, you wanna know what's more crazy? Like crazy? Keep on watching.
Everyone remembers these images on that tragic day. But do you know what happened right before this scene was taken? The scene that is etched in nearly everyone alive at the time's memory. I'm sure it's just a coincidence.
On this page without making a mistake. Look at the letter at the end and remember the sound it makes. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready to read this word the fast way. Get ready.
Kid.
Yes, sound it out. Get ready.
Kid.
Sound it out. Get ready.
Kid.
What word?
Kid.
Yes, kid. Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready.
Seal.
What word?
Seal.
Yes, steal. Read these words the fast way. Get ready.
Play.
Yes, play. Get ready.
Must.
Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready.
Kite.
Yes, kite. Get ready.
Kit.
Yes, kit. Get ready.
Steal.
Yes, steal. Get ready.
Blame.
Yes, blame. Get ready.
Must.
Yes, must. Open your book up to lesson 60 on page 153.
God bless the men and women that lost their lives that day. From the evil that ruled us all, never forget.
Imagine looking back at this as one of those kids.
This is insane. The Chargers had real AI robots at their season opener. Look at how weird these are. Wow.
So their plan is extremely wicked. And you will understand in a little bit as you watch this video why we have to know that the President of America is a fraud who deceives all of us. Because there is an agenda being forced that all of us need to be aware of in order to protect our life. So let's start our investigation. First, I'll show you two video clips of interviews, one with the original Biden and the other with the man who currently claims to be Joe Biden so that he can fill the seat of the American president. At the left you see the original Biden, at the right is the current man who claims to be Joe Biden. You can see them talk. I muted their voices so you can focus on their faces.
Damn, I mean, look at the eyes. They're so different. These are two different people here.
Here are two other images from different interviews in higher quality. I encourage you to really look with a sharp, analytical mind. Don't just stare at those faces, but try to comprehend what you're actually looking at. Try to understand the differences in the faces. Look at the eyes, look at the cheeks, look at the ears. Here are again two different portraits of these both men. I want to highlight one specific detail for you which will help all of you to understand that indeed something very weird is going on here. The ear from the original Biden is thick and separated from the head. The ear from the current guy who claims to be the same Biden is thin, longer, and it is completely connected to the head. And if we look at this part of the ear, it goes straight up, while the other one is curved. This is also much deeper and this is more shallow. These ears are completely different. There's a significant birthmark on the forehead. This one has no birthmark. Sunken cheeks. There's a dent in his cheeks. These are apple cheeks, the exact opposite. This head is much wider than this guy. And look at the eyes. There's no comparison. Here we can see the same. Sunken cheeks, a dent in the cheeks, apple cheeks, the exact opposite. Look at the eyes, look at those eyes. He has a more square head, he has a rounder head. His skin is super smooth. The original Biden had a very rough skin. These are two entirely different men. The original Biden had a really squarish head, while the current man who claims to be Biden has a more oval head. It's nicely rounded. Here, look at the teeth. big teeth. This is an entirely different mouth. Entirely different mouth. The whole head is again completely different skull. This is no makeup, this is no plastic surgery, no aging. These are different heads altogether. If we go back to these photos, then we can see that the wrinkles on the forehead are completely different. Wrinkles are like a fingerprint. They are unique with our person. They can be used in criminal investigations, just like fingerprints. Here we can see it very clearly. Entirely different face print, just like fingerprints. There's no comparison. This is a different, unique person than this guy. Entirely different. There's no doubt about this. So Trump is right. Hannity is right. The millions of people who have been saying this on the internet the past 2 years, they're all right. The original Biden is gone. He has been replaced by an imposter, a fraud, a liar, a con man. Look at him. He's entirely different. There's no comparison between these two heads. You and me and the whole world, we are being fooled in an amazing, mind-blowing way.
Damn. There's no way you're convincing me that that's the same person. Like, those are two different people, y'all. Like, I think with most celebrities, like the singers and the actors and the politicians, like, it's either they're dead or they've been cloned. That is so crazy to even think about it.
Did you know that Mexican cartels are using witchcraft to fight against the police? And it's actually working. 350 police officers were just trained on how to fight back against witchcraft, voodoo, and demonic possessions. This all started when Robert Almonte got a warrant to go into a house selling drugs. Once they got there, they found a woman had put Robert's and his partner's names on voodoo dolls. The woman was a witch or a bruja, and unfortunately for the detectives, their luck got worse and worse as weeks went by, until they actually went to a church and got blessed by a priest. A few years ago, officers found a beheaded man in an apartment by himself. He was surrounded by candles and a Ouija board. Cops have seen a tick in witchcraft in the last few years. The difference now is that witchcraft is being targeted to certain police officers.
The movie Frozen actually hides dark secrets of Disney. It was rumored that after Walt Disney died, his body was cryogenically frozen and buried under the Pirates of the Caribbean ride in Disneyland. Disney had a lifelong obsession with cryogenics and hoped that someday, when the technology will be more advanced, his consciousness could be reawakened and he could see the future. It's rumored that a park employee posted a picture of Walt Disney's frozen body online, and Disney made the movie Frozen to make it all go away by altering Google's search algorithm so that people who search for the keywords Disney and Frozen will be redirected to the searches related to the movie and will never find Walt Disney's frozen body. And now you know that.
Wow. That is crazy.
I show you guys this map and y'all called me crazy. There is no way that the earth can be flat, that there could be other land masses outside of our realm. That's Earth right there. Who is to say that none of these other land masses exist outside of our realm? And TikTok, this video is fake, scripted, please don't start with me. And yet y'all gonna believe this man, if he even existed, sailed for blue in 1492, discovered land, and accurately mapped it, and went down in history as the man who discovered America. Does this look like the type of man that would discover some land? This look like the type of man that got a little too friendly with the started spreading diseases to everybody else. But if you the type to believe this little story, then I'm guessing you also believe in the blue marble floating through space. Let's just entertain this. Do you got a boat? Are you out here sailing these oceans? If there was a landmass right here, you wouldn't know. You only know what they tell you. And they tell us there are 7 continents. But wait, y'all, a lost continent was found. Really? Really? Scientists have finally confirmed the existence of a missing continent known as Zealandia, or Tireu a Maui. That ain't suspicious. New Zealand sits on top of this mostly submerged continent, now known as the Earth's 8th continent. These scientists starting to look real fishy to me. Y'all got all this technology, the Hubble telescope, taking pictures of nebulas and galaxies that are so-called out there, but you just now discovering new continents? And this continent is the size of Australia. So apparently, Zealandia was once part of an ancient supercontinent called Gondwana. That sounds familiar. But get this, Gondwana included Western Antarctica and Eastern Australia over 500 million years ago. That ice wall? That's Antarctica, a place we can't go to. But that was part of this supercontinent that this lost continent was a part of. Suspicious. This is apparently what Gondwana looked like. But it says Zealandia began to pull away from Gondwana, and as it did so, it gradually sank beneath the waves. That sounds like Atlantis. A lot of these myths and legends seem like they got a little bit of truth to it. Or what they say, the truth is stranger than fiction. Fiction. But y'all still gonna believe this, not even being open-minded to the possibility of other lands beyond what we know. Y'all still believe outer space is up, when really it's outer lands. Y'all gonna call me a flat earth conspiracist. Y'all gonna call me crazy. Just like y'all called the people who said aliens was real crazy. Remember that Roswell incident? They tried to convince us that this was the UFO that crashed. And they was calling everybody conspiracy theorists. Now all of a sudden they have all this alien information to disclose to the public. It's funny how the conspiracy theorists turned out to be right. But you know, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just be bullshitting.
I mean, seriously, like, come on, let's think about this, yeah? So these guys use billions and billions of money to explore the space, you know? And they have even pictures and videos of around Earth, apparently. And out of the blue there's a lost continent that is found. Who are these people trying to play? With all the technology they have, with all the equipment they have, and the big telescopes and whatever. They even have images of our planets. They have images of other planets. But it's just too unfortunate the cameraman or the videographer missed the found continent, you know. The math is not mathing here, guys. I don't know. Do your own research. Guys. There's a video I'm going to link on the description box here where there's this lady who explains how stars are formed, what exactly are stars. Make sure to check it out. This planet is the ghetto.
Brazen Federation. Yo, yeah, Braz. Yo, yeah, Braz. Yo, yeah. Yeah, Braz. Yeah, Braz. Yeah, Braz. Ayin, yeah, Braz. Yeah.
That looks like a portal.
This is the story of how a prisoner lost his life just by using his mind. I'm Dr. Seb and this is New Fear Unlocked, where I tell you interesting medical stories so that you can learn lessons from them. This took place in a time where medical ethics were not very established. It is the story of a prisoner on death row, and when it came to the day of his execution, he was given two options. One was to be hanged, and the second was to be bled dry. He was assured that bleeding dry would be slow and painless, so he opted to be bled dry. What he didn't know was, he was going to be part of an experiment. So the prisoner was blindfolded and all his limbs were tied to the bedpost. The doctor then tied a pail to each of the 4 bedposts. The prisoner was told all 4 limbs would be cut and he would bleed dry until he no longer responded. And once he was ready, they started the execution. And as promised, it was painless and gradual as the prisoner drifted into the afterlife. Here comes the interesting part. They didn't actually cut the prisoner. No blood was lost. What the doctor did was to use a sharp object to simulate a cut. Then they dripped water into the pail, initially very rapidly, to simulate blood dripping into the pail until it finally came to a stop. The prisoner was unalive. This concept is called nocebo. People are familiar with placebo. Nocebo is basically the opposite, whereby you develop negative effects to the treatment just by thinking about it, even though you are not on the treatment. So these stories are a good reminder to be kind to yourself. Surround yourself with positive thoughts and positive people. And don't underestimate the power of your mind. Now you know.
Look, 2 carp are exchanging electric eels in their stomachs, as if some mysterious force is guiding them. Even experts are left astonished by such behavior. Speaking of which, in South America, there's a mysterious tribe where their fish are naturally controlled by electric eels. Once they reach adulthood, a remarkable exchange takes place. During this process, the carp miraculously burrow into the soil, open their mouths wide, and spit out a 2-meter electric eel into the mouth of another carp. This kind of behavior is truly bewildering. Back in 2014, American experts discovered that electric eels have the ability to control other fish through electric discharges. Carp, in front of electric eels, respond like taxis, coming when called and going straight into the eels' mouths, making it both safe and convenient. The eels use a unique electric signal to control other fish's behavior. However, the sight of fish burrowing out of the soil to exchange electric eels might seem unbelievable, but it's genuinely depicted in the video.
They always use shows to tell us.
You found a cure for cancer? Well, I didn't come up with it. A couple of eggheads I hired did. How long have you had this? I don't know. When was that Who Let the Dogs Out song? You've had this since 1999? Carter, you've discovered the holy grail of modern medicine. Why the hell would you keep it buried like this?
Right.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because there's far more money to be made in treating a disease than in curing it. Why cure someone of cancer in a day if we can treat them for a lifetime and bill them every step along the way? What? That's insane! Carter, what you're doing here is criminal, and I'm going to tell the whole world about it. Is that right? Who's going to believe you? The internet? You'll be just another nutjob left-wing blogger. Security?
It obviously makes sense though, right? They get paid for us being sick, not healthy. It's funny though, because do we ever hear of A-list celebrities getting cancer or terminally ill? Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but watch.
Being a famous movie star entitled me to top-notch medical care not available to the rest of society. My body was immediately taken to a Hollywood hospital, where I was hooked up to a 17-year-old ingenue. And in accordance with Hollywood law, her life force was infused into me, bringing me back from the dead.
I know, it's just a joke. There's obviously no cure for cancer. And these stars don't get any type of special treatment, right?
In every disease that is in this planet, there's a plant for its cure. So
this very strange video is circling the internet of what's supposed to be this very strange phenomena happening in the middle of the ocean. A couple of people inside of a boat captured it on camera. I'm going to show you guys the entire video. Some people are relating this to underwater volcanoes, but I'm not exactly sure if this is the case. I'm going to show you guys the video. You tell me what you think is going on here. Check this out. Pay attention, look at the size of this thing. Look at this over here. What's going on here, guys? What is your take?
Scientists try to make sense of a recently declassified report of the deaths of 23 Russian troops. Instantly transformed into pillars of rock during a battle with what was claimed to be alien creatures wielding a deadly weapon.
Supposedly, this energy source took the biology of the person and turned them into stone.
The whole thing was supposedly witnessed by a couple of soldiers who were hiding behind trees and were thus unaffected by the death rays.
Certainly something that can transmute living flesh into stone that quickly is beyond our experience.
The KGB report goes on to say that the remains of the UFO and the petrified soldiers were transferred to a secret scientific research institution near Moscow. Specialists assume that a source of energy that is still unknown to Earthlings instantly changed the structure of the soldiers' living organisms, having transformed it into a substance whose molecular composition is no different from that of limestone.
Now, I know when you see this, you find this hard to believe, but I do not find this hard to believe. I actually researched this story, and I researched several other stories that I already knew about that goes right along with this. And not to mention, the story wasn't told in this clip, but the soldiers shot their weapons at these entities. And when they did, these entities responded by, there was 5 beings, and then they emerged together, and then they shot this light out, and it turned them into stone. And they actually took the petrified soldiers and turned them into poles, actually. Stone poles. They didn't even look like humans anymore. And so they took them to study them or whatever they did with them. You can go research this. You'll find this out yourself. But check out these other things that's going on. Remember the giants? And remember what happened to them? And remember there's structures left like mounds and stuff that they think were giants? It is believed after the flood, and this goes back to the Anunnaki, the tablets and everything, not just the Bible, that these giants, that some of these mountains, some of these structures, some of these stone images that's left on earth, is this the same way they were turned to stone? Or were they just petrified? How did this happen? Not to mention, have you ever heard the story of Medusa? Medusa was a Greek mythology character that was thought to be fictional. She also turned people to stone when she looked at them. She was one of the most beautiful women ever. She was cursed, and then when she became Medusa, if you looked at her, she turned you to stone. Was this true? And not long ago, in Russia, they just discovered this, and they're calling this the fallen angel. I did a video on this a long time ago, but I'm putting 2 and 2 together. Was this an actual person at one time? Was this an actual entity at one time? Or was this entity turned to stone like those soldiers in the first clips we saw? With all of this stuff being noticed, and you know, I researched to find this, and I'm like, you put this together, and did it all happen the same way? I know it's different incidents, it's different events, but all of these things, these are possibilities. I believe this could have been a living being at one time. So an actual, they're calling it a fallen angel. I don't know about that, but tell me what you think in the comments. Do some of these stories, could they possibly go together?
My theory on petrified giants. Whatever happened to them most probably happened fast and simultaneously. Now, do I believe that they are 100% petrified? And the answer is yes and no. If giants are real, like the Bible, Dead Sea Scrolls, and other literature defines, they were not born of the same flesh like me and you, so I think they were only stopped but not destroyed. And these pink salt mines and these flesh-looking stones are part of their bodies harvested from the earth. And for us to deny the similarities that this was once some living tissue, when pictures and video show layer by layer the truth.
Do you guys want to hear something really, really crazy? Well, here it is.
The greatest sense of empowerment is being able to have some control when everything seems so out of control. And we're calling it the People's Fund of Maui because every dollar that you send is going to go into an account that goes directly to the people.
What happened in Hawaii is not a natural disaster. We all know it now. It is a man-made, man-created disaster. With one push of a button, and the beam came down and it destroyed everything. Everything. But it did not destroy the elite's house. Did not destroy Oprah's house. It's in fine condition. But guess what? That smug son of a comes up on the TV in front of the camera with the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who's more like a freaking pebble on steroids. All right? You guys come up in front of us, in front of our faces, and you say you want us to donate the charity you have started? I don't think so. Because all that money is going into your pocket. Because I'm about to tell you guys the truth. And the truth is this. America is not controlled by the government. America is controlled by the families, by the elites. And you really guys think that what happened in Hawaii was done by the government? No, it's not. It's done by these elites because they are the ones who wanted the land in Hawaii. Their plan started in 2003. They wanted to create 50-minute cities. They're going to. And now these two smug elites are sitting there and asking us for donation when the people can't even afford to feed their kids, can't afford to turn the heating on, turn the electric on. And you guys are asking us where you have billions and billions of dollars in your thing. And let me tell you how much they raised. They have raised $4,000. That's it. Up till now, in 2 days. That shows you that people don't give a shit about you people anymore because we are awake. We know what you guys are doing to us. We created you. Do you know that? We created you, elites. We are the ones who watched you, followed you, and we created you. But guess what? If you can create, you can break. And guess what? The time is coming when you guys are going to break. Okay? Remember that. Last bit, do not give a penny to these smug. Do not.
I'm not American, but I believe that because it's so evident.
What you are seeing now is not some horror movie, but real images of what happened in Japan. In 1953, the town of Minamata in Kumamoto Prefecture, Great Japan, a strange thing happened. 50,000 cats jumped into the sea to commit suicide, and 200,000 people were in a swarm. At first, the cats in the town of Minamata were as if they had been struck by an evil spirit. Their bodies were convulsing, the walkers were falling over. There were symptoms of foaming at the mouth, and even tens of thousands of sick cats jumped into the sea to commit suicide. Although this strange phenomenon makes people numb, but the residents of Minamata town did not take it too seriously. Who knows, a few years later, this strange symptoms have been transferred to the human body. This strange disease was a sensation at the time of the world's Minamata disease, and the truth behind it will definitely make you shocked. The people who got this disease initially just mouthed crooked eyes, slanting speech slurred, slowly evolved into deafness, blindness, mental retardation, and finally all like a zombie storm, fear of sunlight, spasm, and convulsions until death. Later, after investigation, Minamata disease is actually due to methylmercury poisoning caused by eating fish or shellfish contaminated with organic mercury. Methylmercury is a highly toxic substance that enters the human body and spreads throughout the organs of the body. When mercury accumulates to a certain level in the human body, it damages the central nervous system and most seriously the brain tissue, and the damage is irreversible. The real culprit of this strange disease is a chemical plant in Minamata. The plant discharged a large amount of wastewater containing methylmercury into the nearby bay every day, seriously polluting the local water quality. Fish and shrimp in the water survived in this highly toxic environment for a long time, and these contaminated fish and shrimp were then consumed by animals and humans, leading to Minamata town.
New Fear Unlocked.
You guys need to watch the intro to this Melanie Martinez concert. This might be one of the creepiest things I have ever seen, especially what she says at the end.
I think that's just Melanie being Melanie, you know. Right now, Lady Gaga must be feeling so pressured.
scary facts you never knew. You should get drinks with no ice in restaurants. Because according to most studies, most restaurants do not clean their ice machines. And most of their ice is contaminated with mold, poop particles, and other bacteria. Selfies are responsible for more deaths each year than sharks. In 1518, there was a medical crisis. It was called the Dancing Plague, which saw hundreds of people dancing in the streets uncontrollably in a trance-like state for 2 months. They didn't eat, didn't drink, and most died from exhaustion or heart failure. There was no cure. Scientists believe it was either caused by mass hysteria or by a fungus called ergo that was in the bread. Hopefully no fungus has ever turned us into dancing zombies.
In the Sinai Bible, which predates the modern King James Bible, he was never crucified. Not even crucified. And what more recently, they discovered the book of Jesus's wife, which is at the Harvard Seminary. And this proves that he also got married. And so I don't believe he was ever crucified whatsoever. I believe it's just a farce made up by the Roman Catholic Church. I don't believe any crucifixion actually ever even occurred. I believe that the man lived, had children, and I think that his bloodline is called the Merovingian bloodline. And the Merovingian bloodline is still walking the planet till this very day.
That makes a lot of sense, because at what point do they get to tell us the truth, you know? But that's why I'm saying, you guys, you should do your own research so that you can get to know things for yourself, by yourself. Don't just believe everything you're told, but question everything, in short.
In this video, I'm about to break down human cloning and a step-by-step process on how it's done. Now, if I want to clone you, I'm going to get a female that got the same blood type as you. Why do I need a female with the same blood type as you? Simple. It's because a female is the only human capable of having a baby. After I get a female with the same blood type as you, I get a glass pipe as thin as one strand of hair. Now, why do I use a glass pipe? The same reason you should drink your water out of glass, because you can't taint the germs, aka the genes. Remember, germs mean genes. Now, why do I get a glass pipe as thin as one strand of hair? Simple, because it's thin enough to penetrate those germs, aka those genes. Now, once they get those two blood types in the glass pipe thin as one strand of hair, they fuse those two blood types with a process called ultramagnetic shock, which forms a fetus. See, back in the day, when they did human cloning, they used to take up to the full lifespan of the entity that they were cloning. But now in this day and age, we got technology that can clone anybody up to 6 months. So if they got a 40-year-old man, it'll take 6 months to clone him. See, now they have a process called mind uploading. Say they wanted to clone me, and the last thing on my mind before they clone me was a bag of Doritos. In 6 months, once they get my clone and wake it up, the bag of Doritos will be on that clone's mind. They used to have to physically take your blood. Well, now they use robots. And when you think of a robot, you think of a metallic substance. But nowadays, with technology, that's not the case. They have biological entities. They look like mosquitoes. They come, bite you, get your blood, get your DNA, and they take it back to the cloning base. They got an underground bunker cloning base in New Mexico called Dulce Cloning Facility. If you think cloning is not real, you better second guess and go do your homework on human cloning. Your favorite rapper might be a clone. Put that on your brain.
This is what people are mistaken about. There's all people talking about the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
You're the fucking zombies.
Oh, the cell phone zombies.
This is the fucking zombie. This is the fucking zombie apocalypse, man.
Yeah.
Wait, are you?
I am too. I'm one of the fucking zombies, man. Yeah.
Now, listen, Jim.
Good evening. Welcome to the All
busy.
Zombie Network.
Check this.
Do you know about alchemical sexual alchemy?
Do you know
that do you know that the story of Jesus, how it's been altered in certain ways? I mean, yes, there was a guy, yes, there was teachings, all that stuff, but there's 33 vertebrates in your spine. There's 33 years in the life of Jesus.
Christ, yeah.
Okay, there is a substance or liquid or a substance that comes from your medulla, which is basically completely looks like the Ark of the Covenant, has angel's wings around it, the whole thing. Your medulla is shaped.
Now, is this what
So this substance comes from your medulla, makes the trip down your spine to your sacrum, which is
Quick, get a dictionary.
Christ coming down into human form.
Yeah.
And if you don't squander that essence, that sexual essence, it ascends again and goes back up to heaven, which is your thing. It's also the story of Santa Claus. Why he comes down the chimney is because this juice or this whatever substance actually passes what's called the claustrum, which is where they got Santa Claus. So it goes down the chimney and back up the chimney.
I forgot what we were talking about. You must
We're talking about sexual alchemy.
Yeah, sexual
you know
alchemy.
What Gnosticism is really about?
I was telling you about running around the 800 meters. Okay. And if this has anything to do, if this
Gnosticism,
if I could,
I'll jump in.
I have trouble relating this sexual alchemy and
This guy is pretty smart. He needs to be on our podcast with someone like Joe Rogan so that he can just spill. Like the fact that this guy is just randomly touching it with his bare hands, it shows that he's gotten used to it and this is not new to him. This is business. Like, what the heck? When did you get here?
This security footage captured the homeowner's dog looking suspiciously out over their yard. The dog begins to bark as something spooks him. Suddenly, a strange set of disembodied legs runs across the background. The dog appears to be surprised by the sighting and heads inside. Looking more closely, the legs appear small and run at speed.
So guys, we've come to an end of this video. Thank you so much for sticking up to this far. If you have enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe so that you can get notified every time I post new content. Also, if you've loved this video, give it a thumbs up so that we can push it up the algorithm. I'm going to see you on to my next video. Bye.